Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome to this edition of Turnbuckle Tuesday. Today is January 1st. It's a Wednesday. So, this is a special edition of Turnbuckle Tuesday due to the fact that NWA Power aired today at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. There was no AEW Dark. Well, it was, but it was a highlight show of year one. So, not much to cover there. Really great highlight show. And last Saturday, Impact Wrestling did their Impact Wrestling Awards. So this week they're not doing Impact Wrestling on Tuesday. The 4th, this Saturday coming up, they will have their final part 2 to the award show. And then everything will be back on regular schedule January 7th, Tuesday, which is next week. NWA Power, AEW Dark, and Impact Wrestling all returns at their regular schedule time. But alright, let's go ahead and get into in this special New Year's Day of NWA. So Power opens up with this, it's a voiceover. I think it's Nick Aldis talking. They're building up the qualifying match between Nick Aldis and Tim Storm, which happens today. I like the new shot of the crowd. I like the shot of the crowd. It was a nice crowd. I also like the ever since Into the Fire, where they've been shooting the ring from the top of the studios, where you're behind the crowd and you can see down. I kind of like that viewpoint, camera angle. I think that's great. Go to the commentator's desk with Joe and Stu. They talk about the main event. They send it to the desk with Dave, who is with Tim Storm. They talk about the match later on tonight or this afternoon. Dave asks if you win. Says if you win, will you eventually get back in the NWA Heavyweight Tournament? And he said, "What do you mean if? When he wins?" Okay, so now the story behind that, real quick, is the first episode of Power. Nick Aldis gave Tim Storm shot at the NWA title. I think it was the first or the second episode. And the stipulation was that if Nick Aldis won, Tim could never challenge for the NWA title. So he lost. So he has a challenge to try to fight that. So for him to ask is very interesting to see, will he challenge if he actually does win, or will he find a loophole in it or something? So he basically talks about he will see, but his whole goal tonight is to kick Nick Aldis' ass. So of course, doing all this, out comes Nick Aldis and Camille. He goes back and forth with the crowd. I think Nick Aldis is making a great villain. A great villain. A great heel, as you would say. And says how he only added himself in the tournament for fun. He basically taunts Tim, and then he also says there's not many more people who can challenge him for his title, so that's why he's in the tournament title, just for fun. He does taunt Tim, and ends by telling Tim he should change his ways, and that the NWA title is the only belt that makes you a big deal in wrestling anyway. So since Nick has NWA title, heavyweight title, it's a big deal, and the winners is. They go to commercial. Back in commercial, they play a replay of Aaron Stevens' interview from last week, where he, after the question mark had won his match, they replay it basically. Then we head to the ring where Aaron Stevenson is in there versus Sal Renato. I think that's pronounced right. And they submission match. And this is the first. I think this is the first submission match on Power that they've actually had. So it's interesting, and it's not for the national title. So Aaron Stevenson has yet to defend his title, so to speak, since he's won it. Aaron Stevens is in his karate uniform and, doing his little chops and poses and stuff. And he goes back and forth with the crowd, which is great. He gets a lot of heat and stuff. He gets the crowd interactive in his character. So he's good at that. He's good for TV. He ends up winning with the Mongolian clutch, which is like a version of a chicken wing chokehold. He doesn't let the hold go after the tap out, so Trevor Murdoch comes out to rescue, and he makes a save. And then, of course, Aaron Stevens goes to the podium with Dave and said that is, unacceptable. He was minding his business. Trevor Murdoch should mind his business and not jump in his business. So Trevor Murdoch comes over there and says how he's sick of him. He's sick of the way he treats people. He's sick of the way he treats people in the back, how he acts and all that. So he said, an old school term, that if he got a hair on it, then he should get in the ring with him and handle it like men. Which Aaron decides to show that, well, first of all, he doesn't have hair. He's waxed from head to toe, which is interesting. Aaron accepts the challenge, which I'm shocked. Stevenson actually accepts the challenge. So, another match into the ring, but the only stipulation is Stevenson says that you have to put your TV tournament spot on the line. Murdoch accepts. And as he's saying it, as Stevenson says, the TV tournament title, he can't get the word right, so he says TV title, qualified, or the title, TV, but we get the point. And so it's fun. They head to the ring. We're back with Stevenson versus Murdoch. Trevor hits Stevenson first, and he goes outside and sits down for a quick minute. He gets back in the ring, and he just gets beat, basically. Trevor puts Aaron in a submission, but Aaron gets to the rope. Now, Trevor showed how versatile he is as a wrestler, and the performance for him to be a big guy and be able to do this little weird, complicated looking submission. So that was really good. He still ends up winning with another submission, the Indian Deathlock, which is homage to Harley Race, the 8-time NWA champion, who I think also happened to train Trevor Murdoch. So Trevor basically gets to keep his TV title tournament slot, and Aaron Stevens just loses. Maybe it'll be something else he can whine about next week or later on in the show. Who knows? They run a commercial for NWA Power Surge, which is coming soon. I think it's going to be an online thing. NWA National Wrestling Association.com. Maybe like a little clip show or interview segment. The Pope is with Homicide and Eddie Kingston. I will say this, during the recording of that, the Pope was chewing extremely loud. He had gum in his mouth, so that was funny. His mic was picking it up, so I'm not sure if I would watch this. I may check it out a couple of times because of the Pope, but I'm not sure I would just buy into it and watch it faithfully every week or whenever they release it. But we'll see how it goes. Another commercial. We're back with a replay of the mistake that Eli Drake made last week about the jacket and the shoes. He got mixed up too much of the sauce. Eli Drake comes out, of course, and he goes over with the crowd with the yeah, and they repeat yeah. They've asked him his plans for New Year, and he talks about it being 2 weeks since he's actually been booked for a match, because he was there last week and this is the second week, so he doesn't have a match apparently. I would assume they would have tried to book him, but maybe they're saving their bigger stars and giving everybody else other opportunity TV time. So it makes sense, but I like it. The angle that they're going with him not being booked, and he's upset about it. So kudos to the writers and the people behind the scenes. So really good. Since he has had a match. He's wondering if Nick Aldis has something to do with it. Who he thinks Nick Aldis is scared of him and don't want him to challenge for the NWA heavyweight title, the 10 pounds ago. I don't really know how true that is. Maybe because Nick Aldis does talk about how he has so much pull. He talks about fighting anybody, even Rick and Morton. of the Rock and Roll Express, and he said he'll find him a partner. He had a partner who was Tim Storm, but Tim Storm has a match and he's busy with the Nick Aldis thing. But he says he'll even take James Storm, you know, which is not bad. I think James Storm is a phenomenal entertainer and wrestler, and you know, I would enjoy seeing them two back in action. But I do like to see the new Stars stuff come up too. But then he also says he may even take Mr. Anderson. But then he also talks about why would he want to take Mr. Anderson. He said he'll take the two-time loser Mr. Anderson, the guy he beat twice, into the fight, and 3 weeks ago on Power. So it's really good. So he kind of, you know, may take jabs at Mr. Anderson. Coco Cabana comes out to kind of rescue Mr. Anderson and doesn't like that Eli is talking about his friend like that, and it's enough is enough, you know. You're mad because Mr. Anderson hit you on the back of your head, and of course he was saying you hit him on the back of his head, so y'all are even, let it go. And Eli doesn't care about any of that as he's talking, and Eli says, are you out here to be my partner to go for the gold? I guess now he's going for the tag team titles. You know, I guess Eli, any goal is good goal for him at this moment. Kind of wish he was in a TV tournament, but we'll get into it later. Coco Cabana tells him no, he already has a partner, Mr. Anderson. So, Cole talks about how he has been, he said the one interesting thing about him, the difference between him and Eli is he's been NWA champion twice, and Eli has never been champion. So that, you know, doesn't go over too well with Eli. So of course, Eli challenges go to a match. Mr. Anderson come out, and the refs kind of keep them separated. Then they kind of go to a little commercial break where they run an ad for this Girl Power, which I think is like a female version of Power Surge that'll be on National Wrestling Association.com. It'll be basically the women talking about their division or their problems and stuff. Another thing that I'm probably not going to watch or be interested in, let me know down in the comments as you like and subscribe to this channel and video. But will you be watching Power Surge? I mean, I like the name Power Surge, but will you be watching Girl Power? You know? Let me know. So they say all this is coming soon, so who knows when it'll be released. I'm sure they'll let us know on one episode of Power, or they'll do a special video or something. But as right now, these are coming soon to the websites, because that's what they keep putting up. Now we're back with Marty Bella versus Tasha Steelz. Marty Bella is trying to prove herself to Melina, because Marty Bella has kind of been on a losing streak. She's kind of been the weakest link in their trio with Melina, Thunder Rosa, and Marty Bella. So, you know, Marty Bella's out here being very aggressive with Tasha Steelz, and, you know, Melina's out there ringside watching, taking notes, basically, you know, giving pointers on what Marty should be doing, and, you know, basically being a manager. But, you know, the crowd is behind Tasha Steelz. Marty Bella does have a lot of space. Once she has the advantage, she does take a lot of spaces and gaps. Like when she knocks Tasha Steelz down, instead of going for pins and stuff, she walks around. She takes her time. And Melina says stuff about that, about she should be on top, stay on top of her. But in the end, Tasha Steelz ends up hitting a diamond cutter, or RKO for some people who don't know what a diamond cutter is. Same move, diamond cutter. She gets the win. Melina is not happy at all. But this is Tasha Steelz' first win in the NWA. Melina gets in the ring and starts criticizing Marty Bella, you know, which makes sense. They go to commercial break. We're back with we're in another area, I guess, of the studio, where Kyle Davis and Anastasia Fletcher, the attorney who was there last week, and they're there to pick names for TV title match for next week. They picked Zicky Dice and Caleb Conti. So that'll be a TV qualifying match next week. Zicky versus Caleb. Now for the main event, you have Tim Storm versus Nick Aldis. Great main event. Sounds great, looks great on paper. Who would have thought that we would get a rematch? I think from the first episode of Power, especially, you know, when we thought they both were decent guys, and then especially after Nick has turned on Tim, and you know he was attacked by him, Nick, the Wild Cards, and Camille. So who would have thought so quickly that he would be able to get a one-on-one match with the NWA Heavyweight Champion? So that's so, you know, because their names got pulled for the TV tournament. That's how it happened. Okay, so you know Tim is in the ring. He's all fired up. He's ready to go. Nick comes out with the Wild Cards and Camille, and talks about how he's not dressed. He just wanted, he again entered this tournament for fun, and Tim is no longer fun. He's not making it fun. He's basically taking it too serious. He tell us the name of the group is Strictly Business, and he is the CEO. So he decides not to wrestle. But Tim comes out and says he wants a match with him. So Nick gets on the apron, you know, acts as if he's going to get in the ring, and then he decides not to. So he's not going to get in the ring, but he's made a decision that someone will take his place. A thoroughbred, a good person, and he volunteers Royce Isaac. Royce wasn't too exciting about that. He kind of said, you know, he hasn't warmed up, but he was dressed to wrestle. So he gets in the ring, and most of the time, Tim is dominating Royce. Lanier, he tries to distract, but Royce only gets a 1 count based off of Tom Lanier's distraction, which lets you know Tim is fired up, so he's really looking for a fight. We also still have this 6:05 time limit because it's still a TV title qualifying match. So the time is still winding down, and Royce tries to come back, but it's all Storm basically for most of the match. Storm eventually hits the perfect storm for the win with 1 minute and 39 seconds left. Aldis is not happy as he's looking, you know, into the ring. The Rock and Roll Express come out behind him, and he turns around, and Ricky Morton tells him never turn your back on your opponent. That is how they end Power. Overall, again, great, solid matches. Great use of an hour. I will say NWA Power has done very well with only an hour show. So kudos to them. Kudos to Billy and all of them that's down in the studios. The backstage people, the writers, the light people, the stage designers, everybody. Good job. Great main event. Liking the build up to the TV title. You know, it won't be officially won until the pay-per-view card times, January 24th. So that's exciting. The girl power thing, not really sure I'm interested. The thing with the Pope, we'll see. Like I said, and will Pope just be a commentator, or you know what? Thoughts, comments, anything that I forgot? Did you like the show? How'd you feel it coming on Wednesday? Before your AEW Dynamite, and then your NXT on Wednesday nights. Thoughts, opinions, thumbs up, like, subscribe. Thank you. There is no AEW Dark tonight due to the fact, well, last night, again, like I said earlier, due to the fact that they were doing a 1-year look back at AEW, so all the highlights and stuff. And then, of course, no Impact Wrestling. So, again, everything returns January 7th. And I'll be able to do a review and talk about all 3 of those shows in detail January 7th. Thank you for watching. Keep liking. See you next week.